Good morning, people in the south, and my people in the east. Good day. My western friends, good afternoon. And my dudes in the north, good evening. How you guys doing? Yeah, we're back. We're entering winter in the south, and we going to start experiencing some glitches with our lungs and throats and stuff like that because it's starting to get cold. So, um, hey, you know, I didn't want to share this story, but let me just share anyway. I once, I once got the girl that I targeted, uh, and she was snatched out of me. And it was not because I was not putting in effort, no, and it was not because I was too slow, no. I was putting in more efforts, I was putting in work, to impress towards getting her. And she was also showing some signs of falling in. And um, I, sometime later, I learned that uh, she started playing some hard to get. I realized that she's playing some hard to get kind of moves. And I also learned that she was actually taken by another dude, you know. And I'm a person who let things go quite easily, and it was quite easy for me to let go. But the the point, excuse me, the point I was trying to make is that sometimes you might be sitting in a position where you're thinking you are doing everything right, you are you are doing everything by the book, you are doing everything as it's supposed to be done, only to realize that on the other hand, the recipient of everything that you're doing are not seeing it the way you are seeing it. They're seeing it differently. So um, today I want to touch base on the fact that we are not acting quicker. We act slower. We act late. So we need to learn to act now. Especially in our innovative ideas, we need to learn to act now. We need to learn to push our innovative ideas now. As and when it hits your thoughts, you need to start acting on because an innovative idea to be implemented, to be commercialized, depending on its magnitude, might take longer than you expected, might take too long to get to the commercialization stage. So you need to act as soon as possible. Don't bank the ideas thinking, nice, still early, I'll start working on them at the later stage. No, act on them now. Act now. So the journey to build an innovative idea, as I said, into existence, especially if it was just a thought, you just received the thought from the creator. Remember, the thoughts that we receive, the thoughts that we. I want to say something, but I don't have facts about it. But let me just say it anyway. I recently learned that our brains are not used, our brains in our bodies are not used to think. They are control systems for our entire bodies. The brain is there to control the entire body. You see what I'm doing now? This is the brain doing its job. Blinking my eyes, moving my mouth, my tongue and lips at the same time. And my hands are coordinating what I'm saying. This is, and other parts of your body, other vital parts of your body are busy at work doing what they're supposed to do. The heart is pumping blood at a certain rate, regulated at a certain rate, temperatures have been regulated. The brain, it's there to do that. I don't have facts of what I'm going to tell you now. Therefore, the thoughts that we have on daily basis, whatever that you think, it's not coming from your brain. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have facts of this. I just had it. Don't bite my head off. I just had this and I found it very interesting. And I thought about it and it made sense. The thoughts, because the brain is processing the thoughts and we think these things are coming from the brain. Actually, we have some kind of antennas or antennae on the top part of our body. I'm not sure if it's the skull or the skin that is holding or that produces the hair. I'm just not sure. Hence I'm saying I'm not sure about the facts. But this thing here somewhere, it's connecting with the universe and it receives signals every millisecond of your life. It receives signals, and these signals, we call them thoughts. Then what's processing them? The brain. The brain processes the thoughts and then it tells you what the thought is about. The brain is processing the message to oil my eye, and then the eyelid blinks and oils my eye. The brain processes the message to move my tongue in a specific manner. Then my tongue is able to pronounce certain words. The brain, so the brain receives the signal and it processes the thought, and then you are able to make sense of the thought. So every idea that you received into your head, it's coming from the universe. It's a thought. It's not stored somewhere and then but the moment you receive, then somewhere here it gets stored. That's why you are able to think about it. You are able to modify and do all of these things about it, So, back to what I was saying. The moment the creator sends you a signal for a specific thought, you must know you need to act immediately, because certain innovative ideas take time to build. The process of building the conceptualizing the thought, which is the idea, takes time. The process of putting together the things that you need for this concept to materialize takes time. You need to meet people, you need to see people, you need to travel places, the process of validating this thought, if this thought would work or will work in a specific economy, takes time. The process of building MVPs and prototypes for this thought takes time. The process of showcase your prototypes for it to be accepted takes time. The process of commercializing the thought, which is everything else that I mentioned, takes time. You might find yourself spending the entire 5 to 8 to 10 years sometimes building something that someone will look at and say, 10 years to build this thing. No ways. It can't take me 10 years to build this. I would have done this in a few weeks, because we take things for granted. So we need to act now. So every time you receive a thought, write it down, start working on the thought. Plan around the thought. There's an episode where I shared processes to take through when you receive a thought, when you receive an idea. Go through that episode and understand the things that the thought is going to go through before it can be commercialized. So this journey takes time. And let me tell you, if you don't act now, someone somewhere is going to receive the same thought, because we were made from the same source. We are all extraterrestrial on this planet. We are not from here. We were made somewhere. We came here to occupy this place. So whoever creator is, wherever the creators are, they are sending these thoughts to us. If you don't act on the thoughts that you received, because we were made from the same source, someone is going to receive the same source. And if they act faster, if they act way faster than you might end up seeing your exact idea being implemented somewhere else around the world with people that have never seen you, people that they don't even know you exist. Exact same idea. And you ask yourself, how does something like this happen? It's because we are from the same source. I'm pointing upwards because we believe we're coming from up, but actually it's not up, it's sideways. We're coming from sideways. Because wherever we are right now, we are not up, we are not down, we are not left, we are not right. We're just in the middle of, in the vastness of darkness, floating in the sky, hanging on nothing, So we don't have up or down, but we used to pointing up. We receive those thoughts from outside this world and we process them. Much as we're processing them, we need to act faster on them. Because you were chosen to receive that thought, you were chosen to run with that thought. So the more time you take without acting on the thought, a thought is an idea. The more time you take without acting on the idea, the more the creator runs out of time, because the creator wants to see that solution implemented here by you, and you are taking too long. Then the creator is going to send that signal to someone else that they think fits to run with that idea. You will have someone hundreds of miles away from you who doesn't even know that you exist, implementing the exact same idea that you received. So we need to be vigilant. We need to act now. So never ever convince yourself that you are the only one who's thinking that particular thing ever in your life, because you'll be lying to yourself. There's someone else somewhere who's thinking about the same thing. The only difference between the two of you, the three of you, and many of you, the only difference is who acts now, who acts faster than the rest. You are not the only one who's thinking of the same thing. Think about how vehicles were built and look at the distance. The first vehicles were built a long time ago, in the I think 1600s. Long time ago, in the 1600s, way before internal combustion engines. I think cars were still three-wheeler, or they were still driving on three wheels. But look at the guys who built cars. They were riding on horses, right? And these guys lived miles away from each other, far apart from each other. Just look where they received the idea or the thought from, and look at what they built. They built almost the same thing. Almost the same thing. Now the idea of building a car, it's a common standard concept. We know a car. Let's just talk about the internal combustion vehicle. We know an internal combustion engine vehicle should have this and this and this and that. And wherever you are, you're just going to build something to that standard. But think about it. A guy who built the first Mercedes-Benz was in Germany, I think. A guy who built the first Volvo was in Sweden, I think. So think about the distance. These guys are far apart from each other, and they built almost the same things because they received the same thoughts from the source, from the creator, and they were able to build the same thing. And when they modify, they start to modify it the same way until these vehicles that they build were able to take them to far much longer distances, and they were able to meet each other. Then they started to share ideas. Now the idea of building a car became saturated across and around the world. And that's what the creator wanted, for us to solve our own problems. So I want to rubber stamp this for you to understand. I once submitted an idea while I was still working in corporate. We had sort of a portal where we were submitting ideas as employees, and I once submitted this idea in 2007. I submitted this idea. My employer was Eskom, which is the power utility company in South Africa, and Eskom had 3 divisions: the generation division, where we generate power; the transmission division, where we transmit power using cables. I'm not gonna give you terms that you don't understand. I want you to understand this is in layman's term. So I'm not gonna use terms to try and impress you. So we transmit this power using cables on pylons. So long distance cables that you see across the country. It's transmission division. And then there's distribution that distributes the energy across the users and the customers. Now, I come up with an idea. I submit the idea to the portal. Then the ideas were going through there's an episode as well where I shared much of this. Those who have been with me through from the start will know what I'm talking about. But it's not a problem for you to go back and watch everything. That the information is going to be there for decades and dynasties. So go watch and learn. So I submitted the idea. My idea was because Eskom was starting to see a lot of problems, economic problems, financial problems, and stuff like that. So there were too many issues that are coming around: finances, saving money, saving costs, and stuff like that. So I received a thought to say, but if we are going to start building new power plants, which are power stations, there's going to be a need, maybe, for us to build new transmission lines. Why don't we look into a way of transmitting that power without using cables? I submitted an idea like that. And guess what? The idea has never made it through the process of approval and everything. It got stuck to concept stage. Because I think the people who worked in that portal, the people who worked in that department to validate ideas and evaluate ideas and stuff, they just thought, this is not possible. There's no way that we will do this. Now listen to this. Someone in Finland had received the same thought. And today, as we speak, the government in Finland, I'm guessing is the government or the power utilities or whoever, are going to start transmitting power without cables. I don't know how they're going to do it, but the idea, as I read the information, the idea is they're going to have a big transmitter where the power signal will be transmitted, and then the households and the users will receive the power signal, and they will be able to consume electricity without any cable. Exactly what I submitted in 2007. This year, 2 months ago, a month ago, I read this information that Finland is going to roll out a new way of transmitting power without cables. If I go back and tell them, guys, I told you, what do you think they're going to say? And here's another one. I submit an idea, and the idea was because we were starting to have problems with power supply. Customers were not able to get sufficient supply of power or electricity, so they were shared the load. So during the day, parts of the country receives power. During the night, the other part who received the power during the day gets switched off. The part that did not receive power gets power. Then they shared them amongst the load that is available accordingly, because we started to have issues. So we didn't know what else can we do to solve this problem. But it looks like the problem has been solved now. But we're still vulnerable, you know. So I submit an idea and say, why don't we generate power using our highways? Because some of the most busiest highways are busy like 24/7. On peak hour, they're even busier, you know. We go install rollers. That's what I said on the submission. I still remember this quite vividly. We go and install rollers on those highways, and then as the vehicles are using the road, they are able to generate a certain amount of power, which we can collect and step up and supply the city, you know. Uh, some few years, so a year later, I was sitting and watching TV. I like to watch engineering shows and stuff like that. When I was still watching a lot of TV, I like to watch such. And there was this show. The show was more like the what is this show? Lions Den. Yeah, it was more like Lions Den. If you know what Lions Den is it Lions Den? Dragon's Den, not Lions Den. Dragon's Den. Dragon's Den is where entrepreneurs go and pitch their ideas, and then the investors will ask them questions, and then you know. So the show was more like it was a South African show. It was more like a Dragon's Den. So there was 4 investors. Then you go pitch your idea, and then they ask you questions and the validity of the idea and stuff like that. I forgot the name of that show. It was a South African show. And then here comes this guy. He pitches my idea exactly how I submitted it. And his concept was not on the highways. His concept was on the airports. He was saying he was sitting at the airport and looking at how the aeroplanes were landing. And then he thought, thought a signal was received. And then he thought, yeah, our country is going through a lot in terms of electricity supply. Why can't we install some kind of rollers so that when the plane lands, because he was looking at the friction that the plane is making as it lands, and the amount of power that, or the amount of energy that we're losing through the landing part of the plane, because those wheels are giving out a lot of energy that we don't use, we don't capture. So he said, how about we go and modify the runways and install some kind of rollers where when the plane lands, it's able to turn those rollers at high speed. And he had it well planned, and that guy was an engineer. And then that guy went through the semifinals, the finals, and he won. He won. That guy won. I forgot the name of the show. I would show you what I'm talking about. I forgot the name of the show, and it's quite difficult for me to search for the show with just general information. It doesn't give me. It doesn't. I wanted to. I tried to search the name of the show. I forgot the year, the channel. I don't remember where it was playing at time. You know. So that guy won. Apparently, he was going to spend a week or month in overseas somewhere, then come back and implement. We're still waiting even today. I see the airport is still the same. I don't see any modification. You know, I'm not saying he failed. Remember what I said. It takes time. This journey of implementing ideas takes time. So that guy might still be busy, or is probably busy working on this idea. Probably at some point one day we're gonna see some new developments coming through. You know, so we need to act now. People have ideas. People have a lot of ideas, and they think these ideas. They think they should wait for the right moment. the right moment will come for these ideas to start haunting them. That's what I sometimes feel, that this idea, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a truckload of ideas, because I trained myself, I trained my mind to work around looking for problems everywhere I go. So I come up with a lot of ideas. So I have this thing. I know, because we were made from the same source. I know there's gonna be a time where you think, this idea is, I'll work on it later. The right moment will come. For me, it will start haunting me. Then when it starts haunting me, then I'll realize, this is the time to implement. No, you need to act now. That's why I registered a company, and I wanted my company to work on ideas, so that we don't have to wait for the right moment. We don't have to wait for the idea to haunt us. We don't have to wait for any idea to idle. So we will have teams that work on different ideas and move them from one stage to another. So if you are a investigation team, your job is just to investigate the idea. Then you can you can work in 1 month. You can work on 5 ideas. You can investigate 5 ideas. This means you're going to pass 5 ideas through to the next department, and you receive another 5 ideas to work on, So it becomes easier than working alone in the entire thing, working on one idea at a time. But it takes time. You understand? So, with that being said, we need to be patient with our ideas, but we cannot be patient while we packed them. Yeah, that's what I want to say. We cannot pack them and say, no, I'm patient with my ideas, and they will get to a point where I'll start focusing on them, push them while they are packed. No, you can't stack them and wait for the moment where you think, no, I'll start to, work on those ideas. If one is on prototype stage, one is still on RD and research development and whatever stage, one is on, until you find yourself working on multiple ideas that there's people that working on this, there's people that works on that. Because I know when you work on ideas, you don't really do much per se. You don't really pick up tools and walk around, and you work with teams, and then there's a team that works with designs. There's a team that your job as an innovator is to make follow-ups on daily basis, maybe make follow-ups with such teams to understand how far they are, what are the challenges, so that you can coordinate and get the idea moving. That's what I'm doing things. That's how I'm doing things, and before I get to the end of the episode, I just wanted to make it the point that we need to understand the moment you pack, the moment you stake your idea, someone else is putting it through the process. Someone else is working on it. The moment you think, I will start next year, someone else is on the prototype stage, on the same idea. Because we don't tell each other, we don't communicate these things, we keep them secrets. The day you are busy building an MVP, this is the part I wanted to make clear. The day you're busy building an MVP, someone else is going to launch your idea exactly as you thought of, and you never shared with anyone, or you never shared any details of your idea, but someone else will be launching the same idea. So what's going to happen to the efforts that you put, the money that you've already invested, the MVP that you built and you want to go and start testing? Someone else has implemented. What are you going to do with that? Because you wasted time. You packed your idea, you stacked your idea, and thinking the right moment will come. And it doesn't work like that. So last week or last episode, I shared an opportunity for clean tech innovations that can help you to build and develop your idea, move your idea from one stage to the next. And the opportunity is still available, it's still open. It's called Climate Launchpad. Just go to just go Google Climate Launchpad. I don't know if it's a link per se which I can give you exact link, but just go Google Climate Launchpad and check out the open opportunity for 2026 and apply. It will really help your idea from. I was part of this last year, and was it last year? Yeah, last year. I was part of it last year, and then it's a regional and global competition. So if you win regionally, you go and compete nationally. No, not national. You go and compete globally, and then they take out one winner, global winner. So one lady whom we were participating with from South Africa came out the winner for the global competition from South Africa. She came out the winner. The lady that I was competing with, she came out the winner. It one feels proud for a moment like that, because you realize I was chosen with, or I was amongst the best, because her winning that competition, it's testament to you being one of the best, because you were chosen with the best. It was just a matter of timing. It was just not your time. It was just not my time, but I was chosen with the best. You know, so she came out number one for the entire global entrepreneurs that were participating. And lastly, I want to recommend a book. If you want to be serious about acting now, look out for any book that is titled Act Now, which doesn't talk about politics. I think all the books that talks about Act Now, I never read a book that talks about Act Now, but there's a lot of authors that wrote books rather about Act Now. And some of them wrote books about Act Now in relations to politics, in relations to relationships, romantic relationships. So look out for books that talks about Act Now in relations to entrepreneurship. I did not read a book with a title Act Now, and I haven't read the book with a title Act Now yet, but I'm still yet to read such a book. Instead, I spent time with a professional specialist who read books about acting now. So the specialist, or the professional specialist, was able to share the information with the books that he read about Act Now. We spent almost 2 weeks in that session to talk about acting now. So everything that we spoke about for that entire 2 weeks was about acting now. The activities that we did, it was more like a team building activity. Everything was about acting now. So there was a whole lot of books that he shows us about acting now, act now, act now. That's why I know there's books that are about act now, but it's about romantic relationships. There's books that are about act now, but they're more around politics and so on. So look for the ones that are solely about entrepreneurship, and familiarize ourselves with the knowledge that is in those books, and be able to understand the importance of acting now, and always remember to act now. When you receive the thought, you must know the thoughts are not just being given to you. It could have been anyone else, but the Creator chose you to receive this thought. Why don't you ask yourself a question around you being the chosen one to receive that thought? Why did the Creator give it to you instead of the guy next to you? Because the Creator knew that you are capable. The Creator knew that you are the suitable guy to build this thing. So you need to act now. Don't forget to subscribe. There will be a pop-up here. Just click on the pop-up and you'll see a subscribe button. Click on subscribe and be part of this journey, because we are a channel that is not gravitating on comedy, is not gravitating on many other topics except entrepreneurship that are going to lead to job creation. and we want to help and assist and play a role in participating in the GDP of this country, the economics of this country, and change the face of our economy. Until next week, I'll see you next week. Next week.